Hey everyone, welcome to Man Mondays.
Oh.
And there's no better start for Man Mondays than to have a hot chick.
I don't even have my makeup on. I'll leave you. I'll leave you two.
She was all excited about the very large cat.
Here, I'll take the kids while you guys talk.
Yes, while we guys talk. Hey, oh, that's amazing. It asked if I wanted to tag Denice Duff in this video. Yeah, I'm going to tag her, because what the heck.
Because I'll pop by later.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. So, hey all. Welcome to Monday nights. I can't wait for football season already. Be a giggler tonight. It's I have my Italia shirt on and my Italia sweatshirt on. It's not particularly an American football thing, but Monday nights are awesome when football season is on. Tonight, I was going to talk about assume the position. And, of course, that is an Animal House reference. Animal House, right? But that's not what I'm talking about this evening. I am talking about assuming the position of another person. And since that I'm talking about relationships, I'm talking about from a guy's point of view, and this is not easy to do, but assuming the position of your girl. And this is conflict resolution and picking your battles and just really seeing things from a different viewpoint, seeing things from her viewpoint. I have girls watching. Hi, girls. Hey, Michael. I have a guy now. Finally, I know it's early. So this is my pitch. If you ever run into a situation where you may not be seeing the same thing as your woman. Again, like I said, it's not easy to do, especially if it's a heated situation. But what I recommend is best to your ability is to take a breath and then say, okay, so where is she coming from with this thing? And Mark Brewster, hey dude. Wasn't it just your birthday? I don't know. Happy birthday if it was. Yeah, just being able to see the other side, because usually when we have a conflict, we just don't get it. We just don't get what the other person is thinking or talking about. This is actually a sales point as well. You need to really see the position that the person that you're selling is in, and what are their thoughts, what are their needs and goals, and if you don't, you're just going to be talking blah 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 to them and not really connecting. It's the same in your relationship with your woman. You need to really see and just check in, figure out, okay, so what was her thought process on that? Like, it's very bizarre because my wife has me on her computer right over there. Yeah, Denice Duff is watching. Yeah, it's a matter. This is the rhythm thing that I talk about in my book, which isn't out yet. Oh, by the way, guys, if you could do me a favor, go to happily-unsingle.com. I have yes, you are watching me. I have a one-question survey I would love your help with. I will be doing a masterclass and ultimately a course that guys can do that hopefully helps them have a better relationship. And the title of the book is called Happily Unsingle, the guy's playbook to a happy relationship through sports. And we all love sports, and there's always tie-in with sports, and that's my thing. I'm a guy. I grew up playing sports. It's the whole teamwork thing. So with this, the point I'm trying to make tonight is seeing things from the other viewpoint. This is the assume the position. It's actually assume the position of the other guy. So if you are having trouble with somebody or something, assuming it's your girl, then what I recommend is to try to figure out where she's coming from. Actually try to be in her shoes, like see from her viewpoint. Okay, so she doesn't want this thing happening. Okay, well, why? One of my favorite examples is the classic leaving the seat up. I think I've used this in a different one too. Leaving the seat up on the toilet, because as guys, that's what we do. We stand when we pee. And she would yell-ish, and she would complain that I left the seat up again. I was like, what's the big deal? And I didn't get it, and it wasn't until actually she explained it to me why. But then I was like, oh, and I actually at that point I could see it. I could understand where she was coming from. I could actually see it from her viewpoint, and it just really made it all. It made sense at that point. It wasn't even after she explained it. I was like, well, that's stupid. And I didn't care, but I actually saw it from her viewpoint. I assumed her position. And at that point, then it was easier for me. And that's when things are, Kevin Grant, Robin Jenkins, that's when things really start to click, is when you can see something from another view. I actually was listening to a lecture this weekend, and this was one of the things that was brought up. I thought it was kind of brilliant, actually being the other person. And you can sort of whip that up in your mind of being the other person and say, oh, that's what they were thinking of. That could possibly be what they were thinking. And that is one of the things I recommend. From a sports point of view, if you're like, take basketball, you're a point guard and it's your job to feed the ball and really set certain plays up. So, you're reading the defense as you go, and so this is what you see, and this is what you see. And one, you have to know what your teammates do. You actually have to know their position. And you do that by really assuming their position, right? So, I mean, if I'm a point guard, by the way, I'm 6'3", and I'm not as tall as a lot of point guards. Who, if you're watching a game, they're like the shortest guys on the court, which is amazing to me. I first remembered that, Ken. I first realized that I had gone to a Lakers game many years ago when Derek Fisher was playing, and he looked like this little teeny guy, and someone said, yeah, he's 6'3", and I was like, he's my height. So it's just the comparison with all of the other sizes of guys. But so the point guard has to actually assume the position of the center so that he knows what the center is going to do. If he has no clue that centers, they're generally not super quick. They have their positions that they play. They'll post up guys, and they'll play around the basket, which is where you want them. Thank you for the share there, Ken. And if you don't know, if you're not assuming their position, you're not going to understand what they do, and then you're not going to play well as a team or a teammate because you don't understand what they're doing. So, if you're a point guard and you don't understand what the center does, maybe you expected him to move really quickly toward the basket, and he just doesn't move that quickly. So then that's a bad pass, and your team gets killed. So what I'm getting at here is you kind of have to learn the position of your mate, and you do this by having her. I can see you in the window. She's enjoying this one, by the way, I think. come over here. I mean, people can see you. It's like a surprise. You're not a surprise because everybody could see you in the window.
When you were saying, because I didn't know what you were going to talk about, when you were saying assume her viewpoint, you exactly had to do that. We're in business together on this face cream, and my name is on the jar, but he does a lot of the digital stuff, but I take care of like the communications, but sometimes he can answer a technical question. And like someone had asked, do you do refunds? And, someone said they thought it was, they said it's expensive. And he wrote, I'm sorry you feel that way. Our ingredients are blah, blah, blah. And he goes on a thing, and he says, and I went and looked at it, and I was like, oh. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't say, I'm sorry you feel that way. He's like, well, I am. And I'm like, but you're not really, right? He's like, well, no, because our product is awesome. I'm like, see, there you go. Like you got to be a little softer with a woman, And when you put something in writing like that, you don't have that emotion on it. So, like if someone is truly like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you feel that way. I didn't mean to, like, there's just certain phrases that women, it ticks us off, And so I just went in and I just edited it, and I took, because everything else was fine, but the I'm sorry you feel that way, it's more of a dude to dude thing, Like I cut in line. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, Well, my fart stinks. Well, I'm sorry, it's a dude thing. It wasn't a woman thing. And
it's Man Mondays. That's what we do.
Right? No. And then the other thing.
So then what happened on that? Then she changed it.
I changed it.
Even though I was like, all right, I'll go along with it.
Because he really got and I also had to take the time to let him know, look, you haven't had to worry about skincare like a woman. Like I really had to get him to see, and when I say really had to get him, it took all of like a minute, right? But I knew that I need him to sometimes take care of communications, and this had happened before, and I thought, oh, he just doesn't get the viewpoint of a woman. And
go figure.
So tonight we had a client email that she didn't get her travel size, and we both got the emails, and I was filling orders, so he said, I'll take care of it, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, what's he gonna say? Like, I'm sorry you didn't get, but maybe you didn't look hard enough. I don't know.
Did you check the box?
Right? And or just like, we will get one out to you or something. Anyway, I looked at his answer, and his answer was, oh no, exclamation mark, so sorry, exclamation mark, we'll get one right out to you. And what did the woman write back immediately with was, wow, thank you so much for such great customer service. Right? And it's knowing how women, where our emotions are, and communicating to them in that way. So when it comes to putting stuff in writing to a woman, a text, an email, dudes.
Yeah, good point. Really assume the viewpoint that they're of the receiving end. This is a tangent, but a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure I was.
I know. I got that as fun.
Yeah, make sure you understand that there's no vocal inflections.
The travel size, I travel.
Yeah, it didn't travel, but it's going to travel now. Let's see, Kevin,
and
Erica,
by the way,
yes, we love when you just fall upon us as well.
We're surprising her, and we're giving her 2 travel sizes.
Yeah, because that's what we do. Gino,
you know what that reminded me of? When I have, and
awesome.
This is a little tangent.
Another tangent?
No,
on Man Mondays?
When somebody like who's a fan of
Julie Michaels,
who's like an actress fan, Julie. When someone is like an actress fan, and they write to me and they're like, "You are my favorite actress. Will you send me a headshot?" I'm like, they don't know. They just saw I had a wiki page, But when someone is an actual fan and they write, "I really loved you in Subspecies. It must have been awesome to be in Romania," and they don't even ask for anything, I'm like, "Would you like a signed headshot?" It's like when someone like genuinely is interested in you and isn't BSing, and is kind, you want to do more for them, you know? And I just thought it was so nice that we took the extra mile to be nice to this woman. She then came back like so happily surprised and communicated that, and so we're going to send her a little extra bump.
Yeah, a little bump.
Little bump.
Little bump for our mistake.
This whole thing of like now being in business with a product, it's different than like you being a musician and being paid as a musician and me as an actress. Now we're in this like commerce world, and you can sometimes get the is it vitriol? Is that like a harsh, mean word of people? Because you're just getting this blanket of humanity that are expecting to be, excuse my language, screwed over.
Yeah. Yes.
Kindness is the key. It's really true. And so we had a woman who wrote, I don't understand why the cream is $80. You know, I found that the best creams are $60, and I just.
She was wrong, by the way. It's 90.
Well, 89.
And that's a special because it's 120.
Yes. And so I took the time, and I'm like, the first thing I said is, I understand. I totally get it. Like I wrote that because it's true. I do get it, and I was raised without a lot of cash, and really wanted good stuff like all my rich friends had, and I didn't have that. And so I get it. And I wrote to her and I said, look, this cream isn't something that you're going to have to buy every week or even every month. You can use it every 3 months. And I went through this thing, and she like wrote back. She's like, oh my gosh, I've never had somebody reply.
Never had a reply.
And then she's like, well, can I ask you a question?
Good.
Is it good? I'm 63. I'm like, it's made for mature skin, but it's also great for. Boom. She winds up buying it. And then starts answering questions for other women. And she started off with, I don't understand why this has to be.
Yeah, just handling it.
Yeah.
Yes, Tom. Yes, Kevin. It is super important. I mean, this is kind of life.
On
I mean,
eBay.
this is what you would expect in a store, and this is why if you go in and you know we're getting a little off the topic here, but it does all dovetail in because it's the human experience that I think with all of the electronics and everything else that we have going on, and life is super fast nowadays, we sort of jump and forget about the human element. Like right here, it's like I'm not in front of you guys, but I sort of am, but I'm not. And I think we're online so much that it's easy to be quick, and it's easy to...
like I'm touching them, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But I am.
You're touching me, but you're not. And Veronica Blade.
Hey, Veronica.
Nick Convito, right on. So kind of circling back with even customer service is just really assuming the viewpoint of the other person, you know? They have a problem with whatever it is, and it's their problem, but you have to understand it in order to handle it.
Yeah, you have to take 100% responsibility for it because it's your product.
And
just like a relationship.
Getting back to
100%.
Yeah, and getting back to the relationship, which is where this all starts. By the way, guys, it would help me out a lot if you would go to happily-unsingle.com. I know a lot of you have heard this before, but some of you haven't. I have a one-question survey on there. I am writing a book. It's called Happily Unsingle, and it is the guy's playbook to a happy relationship through sports. And I have a one-question survey on there that I would love your feedback on, and everybody who gives me feedback actually will get free access to my masterclass, which I'll be selling later on. So it'll be a very cool thing.
I'm so
Thank
glad
you for the thumbs up.
I don't
thumbs
hate
ups.
football anymore.
I know, me too.
Football was
and
so
I will
annoying to me.
tell you the secrets of how that happened in that masterclass if anybody's interested.
Like I literally daydream about what is Tom Brady doing?
She asks
and
me,
not in
are
a
there...
sexual way.
No, I do that.
But,
I actually have... She asks me now, aren't there highlights we can watch? I'm like, yes.
I was never like that.
Yeah, so back to understanding. Oh yeah, okay. Thanks, Tom. Tom's going to keep us online here. So it's the same in business. It's the same in sports. It's the same in your relationship. You really need to understand what the other person is thinking, and family the same. The more familiar we get with people, I think the less willing we are to do that, just because we get super familiar.
Yep.
And it's actually the opposite. We should be doing that more with the people we're closest to.
Yep. The patience that you treat a friend with, you got to treat your spouse with. And it's so hard because there's such a years of built up resentment that...
Oh, so there's years of built up resentment.
There are so much years of built up resentment, and I've been wanting to talk about that.
Okay, good. Let's do that now.
I've been wanting to... Ein bitte Minuten here. Wait, that's
bitte Minuten. So another sports analogy, just, football, which I'm pining for already.
They're hitting
The quarterback has to assume the position of the wide receiver. Has to know how he works and what's in his mind in order for them to be successful. He actually has to play both positions at the same time. That's the only way it works, really. Or else he's throwing it over his head, he's throwing it in front of him, he's throwing it behind him, or even worse, he's throwing in a position where he's going to get destroyed, by a safety coming over the top and just crushing him as soon as he gets the ball. So in a relationship, it's actually the same thing. You have to play both positions. Like I have to play both positions here in order to fully understand what it is.
There's Eli Manning.
Eli, yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, even Eli.
And for example, the way he plays my position is he just recently helped me with my small closet that I have here.
Oh,
speaking
this
of
is
closet,
genius,
speaking
by the
of
way,
closet, we have Sophia Milos happened to pop in, who
Sophia,
who the last time I actually was at your house, Sophia, I think we were taking a tour of your grand closet. I think my apartment is the size of your closet. But that's an important thing for a woman.
Veronica.
A little less for me. I'm kind of happy with 6 pieces of clothing, but in general, I'm still a woman, and a closet is a nice thing to have. But having it organized just feels wonderful. And so I went out of town, and when I came back, he just organized my closet for me, but he thought it through of like, how do I like to operate? I'm kind of a fast person, and he I like to see my jewelry, and so he made a separate shelf to put all my trays because they used to have to stack. I had to stack them on top of each other, but he knew that's
not good for speed.
It's not good for speed, so he just made a shelf so that they all were exposed on a shelf, and then because it's kind of dark in there, he went freaking Amazon and got these strip lights.
Guys, these are badass. They're little strips of LEDs, and they're motion
activated. So when I open my closet, there's a little strip of glow that comes from below and a little one from, and he just wanted to make my closet experience wonderful. And
closet experience.
Yes. He did the kitchen cabinets, he knows that, I love being in my kitchen. I love being able to see my spices. He'll buy me a rack for that. I don't need to go out to dinner. I don't need Chanel bags.
Which is really great because we can't afford those right now. Going out to dinner we can do.
But it's just knowing what I like. Mm-hmm. He knows I hate organizing my desk, but it needs to be done. So he'll throw that in as a surprise. He knows I want to take vitamins every day, but I'll sometimes forget. He'll always ask, did you take your vitamins? He's just always a step of what's in my head.
It's playing both positions, and it's knowing what your other player, your other teammate wants.
Yes, Ken.
And it just makes it easier, and you win, and you win that way.
This is Ken says, I'm so happy my wife is not watching this.
It's all right. We'll send her a link. So that's what I wanted to say. If you're, if you're running into trouble, it's some kind of conflict, take a second, stop, assume the position of the other person. Really try to get what it is that they're thinking, where they're coming from. Like, try to be them. And I will say, and some of you have seen the note that we gave to our neighbor, or the note we got from our neighbor, our next door neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
We share a wall, and yes, some of you had, yeah, Ken, these are awesome, and they're cheap, and they're so easy to put up. You'll be a hero. Do it. I'll send you the link for them. It'll be great. Ken's talking about the lights for those who can't see the comments. So, but it really was, I actually, because of this course that I was on, I listened to this tape, and it was talking about, like, actually, like, being somebody else and understanding where they're coming from. And I was like, I'm going to be somebody who smokes, and I had actually never done that. And Denice's mom smoked since the day I met her. Smokes a fair amount. And I actually never thought of that. And I just, I'm not a big fan. I don't really like to be around it. And I had, I had this problem. It was actually like a real problem. This woman smoking next door, because it literally would come into the apartment, and this is where we work. So all day I'd have to open the windows and try to make that work, and it didn't really help. And yeah, I was talking to, I was listening to this tape, and I was telling a friend of mine, and he actually said, he goes, oh, well, you can get an air filter, like an air filter. And I was like, what if I got one for her too? Just thinking about it, like actually being like being her, like switching the script a little, and like, okay, so what if I was somebody who like smoked, like that was their thing? And I was like, okay, so I mean, I don't want to be, she's my neighbor, and she's going to be here for a little while at least. We're going to be here for a couple of years. So,
and also assuming that she's that like smokers don't want to offend other people.
Yeah,
with it, right? Like
assuming that,
and,
right? Assuming that she's like 80% of the population, and she's social, and she's cool, and she's nice, and just going in with that, like, oh, okay, so I don't have to just assume that she's just real hard and harsh and will tell me off, and it's none of my business and whatever. And I just switched my viewpoint on it, which is an interesting part about this whole thing. Yeah. Assuming your viewpoint actually shifts the way that you think about it. And then I was like, oh, okay, it made me relax so much more. I went on Amazon, I bought 2 air filters, what are they called? Purifiers. Have one here, and then I left one with a note at the door to our next door neighbor, who I had met, and actually asked her to if she couldn't smoke there, and she was so sorry. She goes, I'll try not to, but she's a smoker, so it is what it is. And but then she wrote that lovely letter to us, and she thanked us for the air purifier, and she said she's actually trying to quit smoking, which was really cool.
That's
so
a half a pack.
Yeah, went from a full pack to half a pack, and right on, Ken, thanks. She's, we went over the other night and talked for like an hour. And
I went and had pizza with her and went
to
an Oscar party with her.
She went and hung out with Denice last night. So it's just, it could have been different had I not, assumed that viewpoint. So
you start with that fighting thing, and when you think the person, when they're doing something that's annoying you, and then you come back with that attack, annoying mentality of like, you know what? I always tell you, don't put the light on when I'm trying to nap. Or look at, this is my favorite pan. You always burn it. Why do you
She's
do
talking
that?
about things that I do, by the way.
And you know what? They're just coming out. I wasn't going to try to throw you under the bus. I'm speaking, because you don't really do that anymore.
That's funny.
But
Here I am, Man Mondays, trying to talk about doing things cool.
I guess those are.
They do, it happens. That's the thing. The bottom line is we're not perfect, and it's not going to be. It's always life changes, life moves. We live, we breathe. We have stuff going in our minds. We're stressed. It's like, there's no perfect scenario ever.
This weekend was an amazing example. You were awesome. I was bad.
You don't have to make up for throwing me under the bus.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. No, but what I was saying is it's not, there's no perfect scenario. It's just a matter of how close to that can you get. And the closer you get, if it's whatever, if it starts at 10% perfect, okay, you get 10% more, you've doubled, your happiness, and that's awesome.
You've added an extra year to your marriage. This weekend, he was supposed to go out of town and visit his family, and Amtrak called us up to say, we're canceling.
I know, they canceled the...
That
was funny.
They're canceling due to weather. So he wound up staying home for the weekend, and of course, all we do is grind and work and work and grind. And there's something I've been wanting to do with him since we've been in here in New York, and we don't do a lot of sightseeing and stuff. Although people go, you do so much.
Like none.
But we really don't. I go and see theater with my friend when he's in town, and we go for pizza. So my husband had never been to taken the Staten Island ferry that goes past the Statue of Liberty. Now, going to the Statue of Liberty is something we both want to do, but that's a little more of an ordeal. You got to make an appointment. It's a little bit. But at the very least, if we got kicked off this island next week, I wanted him to experience the Staten Island ferry.
Mike LeBeau.
And as my mother's great phrase is, make use of the free facilities. It's free.
Free.
It's a free boat ride
on the
in
Staten
Manhattan.
Island ferry.
So I always, in my head, for like 3 months now, had this idea of surprising him. Now, you ever get an idea, like we women, we get these ideas in our head, and we fantasize them out, and they're so adorable and romantic. And but then
we get those too, by the way, but they're usually different than what the girls are thinking.
But then sometimes when we come out with it, it's not the right runway that the guy expected, and then he gets annoyed, and then we just get sad. So that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
So I had a bunch of orders to take to the post office, and I thought, oh, this is good. We can go to the post office.
She asked me, do you want to take a walk? And I'm like, yeah, I could get out. I mean, I'd already been out, but yeah, I can get out. That's cool. I'd be there. And she's
so
like,
I'm like, okay, good. He's gonna come out
like,
because all it is a.
I'm like, we'll go to the post office. That'll be good. Whatever. 20 minutes. We'll be back.
So we're getting ready. He's getting his jacket on. I'm like, yeah. I said, there's a little surprise thing I want to take you to, and he's just like.
She's like, we have to take the subway. We have to take the 1 and 2. I'm like.
He's like, I don't have time for that.
I'm like, I have so much to do. I can't.
And sincerely, was annoyed by me throwing some little random.
I was actually quite mad.
Yeah, and understandably, it's like we're on a mission. We got stuff to do, and here he had found time that he wasn't otherwise going to have, and now I'm going to rip that away from him, and he wasn't having it. And of course, in his mind, he has no idea what it is. In my head, I have every idea what it is. So he's basically saying, your idea is shit. And so, but in my head, but he doesn't know what the idea is. So I get sad, and but then I realize he doesn't know the idea, and I wanted it to be a surprise, but it will never happen unless I tell him. And
Rob Ehlers and Alexis Corey.
Oh my gosh!
And Dan Demi. Hey guys.
So so here I am, totally dejected. He's pissed. He's about to take it. He's starting to take his jacket off because he's like, I'm not going to some surprise place. I don't have time for that. I can go to the post office with you, and I got to come back. And in my head, all I'm thinking, look, and I'm going to cry again. I'm such a fucking actress. All I'm thinking is that we'll never have time. We'll never make time to do these little special moments living here in New York. We're paying thousands of dollars to live here and live in this city with these wonderful sirens. Somebody's raped and robbed right now, and that's this town. And I really saw like the future of we'll only work and we'll never enjoy the Rockettes. We'll never go up to Freedom Tower. We'll never take a boat in Central Park. Like, these are things we haven't done. And in that moment when he said, I don't have time to do whatever your surprise is, I just saw, oh, we'll never do anything. And I started to cry. And I said, I just wanted to take a boat to Staten Island, and it's free, and I just wanted you to drive by the Statue of Liberty. And that was it. Like, I could do without it.
And I was like, oh, all right. It's going to be cold as hell. Let's get long johns on. And I mean, that was it. And literally just that shift that I was talking about, I saw, I mean, she told me, which was good. And it was like, oh, yes, that I get that. You know, I saw it from her viewpoint. I saw it from that position.
What did Alexis just say?
I just logged on here. How can you say no? Well, exactly. That's exactly it. And it wasn't just,
it wasn't just my emotion, but
it wasn't just the emotion.
You know, and I wasn't throwing it on to get, you know,
totally.
I actually didn't want to get like that, but it's our plan together. It's why we live in a small place, so we don't have to worry about fixing things and cleaning things, so that we can enjoy life and enjoy the adventures of New York, while at the same time working our ass off to pay for it and other donations that we want to do. And so you've got your ticker list, your bucket list of things you want to do, and he realized, oh, this is one of those things. Because sometimes there are things of like going to an Oscar party. No, he'd rather split a vein than go to an Oscar party.
It's a good phrase.
So last night he didn't come.
Yeah, I didn't go, and that was fine.
And that was fine for me, because I get it. He's not going to be any better person. You know.
She assumed my viewpoint and realized that, like, you know, it's not my thing.
Yeah, I didn't even have to.
You know, I like movies, but I need to see more. We don't see more.
I know, we see nothing.
But the whole point is the really making an effort to not to just discount your girl, because I'm talking to the guys, because this is Man Mondays, and I know she's Man Mondays. She's the thing to have on here. Assume the viewpoint of the other your counterpart, your teammate, and you will win. Just like all of the good teams, you have to know both positions. You have to know all the positions. The catcher has to know what the third baseman is going to do, and the shortstop. You know, are they doing a shift because there's a left-handed batter? Alexis.
Yes, really needing to live more. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's that'll be next week. Next week we'll talk about really living more.
And living as a team, husband, wife.
Yeah, I will be talking because it's Man Mondays. Unless you're going to be wearing a bikini or something, that'd be kind of a nice perk for Man Mondays.
All right, I'm going to go to the gym now every day until next Monday.
I just kicked her out. And I was going to end with something, and I can't remember what it was because I thought about you in a bikini. So, all right, there's the ending of my Man Mondays, I guess. Thanks for hanging. Guys who joined later, if you could go to happily-unsingle.com, I would appreciate you taking my 1-question survey. I am writing a book, and I'm going to make an online course. And Missy, yes, your hubby can go to my boot camp, but it's going to be a master class, and I think it's going to be a blast. And I would love your help. So thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll see you next Monday again for Man Mondays, and I'll be doing other little things during the week. But next Monday, Thanks very much.
See you.